it's Terry Gaines. I'm going to give you some assembly tips on creating this fun fold card using Blackberry Bliss cardstock and the Designer Series paper from the Perennial Essence Designer Series paper by Stampin' Up. This paper is absolutely beautiful. All of the designs actually go very well with Blackberry Bliss. It's the back side of this paper goes well with it, and these prints are so beautiful you actually don't want to cover them up, and it's almost like just putting them on your card front with a little sentiment is perfect. You don't need to do much more than that, but I do have a fun fold card. I want to show you some assembly tips on that. So the Blackberry Bliss cardstock that I'm using is 5.5 by 7.5, and I actually scored it at 4 1/4, and it's scored for a fun fold. There is a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's going to be placed on the card base, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. I actually ran approximately about 1 inch or so of the edge through the die cutting machine with this folder, the subtle folder, and that I ran it through folded end first, and that gives me a subtle image here. And also I do that because part of the card is exposing that white, and you want to make sure your inside sentiment and your message do not go any further than that, otherwise you'll see them through the card. So that's the reason that is done. So also for this card, I'm using the image from To a Wild Rose stamp set, and I stamped this with Blackberry Bliss and cut it out with the label die from that bundle, To the Wild Rose bundle. So what I want to do is actually have this layered so there's not another die a little bit bigger. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going to cut this in half. You can use your paper snips, but I did that ahead of time with the paper cutter, just trim that in half. That's going to allow me to expose a little bit on top and a little bit on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put my adhesive across both top and bottom of this, and oops, I'll just get everything out of the way here and place this so I've got a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom. And what happens once I do that is I get this gap in the middle. To cover that, I've taken part of the strip that I cut off here. I only need 5/8 of an inch by 5.5, and I scored that at 3.5. I'm going to adhere this strip to the back of my card right like so. So what I'm going to do is just put my adhesive on this portion and place that on the back up about, maybe about 1.5 inches or so. And then I'm going to place my adhesive on the back side of this white cardstock and place it on my card base. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put one of the prints for the Designer Series paper. As I mentioned, this is so beautiful you don't want to cover it up. This strip is 3 inches by 5 1/4. And what I actually like to do is put this piece in first, because then I can use this edge and this edge and get equal spacing on that. And hopefully when I cut everything, it'll fall into place. So there we have this piece. Now what I'm going to do is adhere this strip, this labeled to this strip. So now I can take my adhesive, go all the way across here. Then I'm going to, I can see it here. I want to get that a little bit of spacing there, and I can see it on that end. Place that. Now when I open my card, I've covered up that white space. And now when I open it up, I see the beauty of that whole piece of Designer Series paper. The last touch is adding some of the Nature's Twine. You get 4 different colors, and one of the colors is Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to just pick that up with a mini glue dot and add that for a little embellishment. And there you have the card. If you found me via YouTube, look in the comment section, the comment section for a direct link to my blog post where you'll find the supply list, measurements, and instructions for this project. There'll be a PDF you can download and a direct link to my Stampin' Up! Store to purchase the supplies. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed creating this project with me.